Welcome back to an extremely tiny slice of Japan, because today we're taking a look at the tiniest car from the Forza Horizon 5 JDM Duels car pack, which sadly costs a little bit extra on top of the base game. But it does mean we get this wonderful little thing. This is the Autozam AZ-1 from 1993. It has 63 horsepower, 63 foot-pounds of torque, and weighs practically nothing at 1,587 pounds. And I can't lie, it looks a little bit like a cheese wedge or one of those fancy little extra computer mice from the early 2000s. Going to the back though, it does look pretty interesting indeed, and from what I remember, this thing's mid-engined. Going to the inside, it's quite compact. In fact, there's barely any room for anything, but we do have a few gauges up front right here. But now let's go ahead and take a listen. So here we are now in the upgrade shop. We're going to jump straight over to conversion and then over to engine swaps to see what's available for this thing. We've got a few. We have ourselves a 2-litre inline-4 VVT. We have a 1.6-litre inline-4 turbo rally. We also have ourselves, surprisingly, a racing 2JZ. And on top of that, we also have a racing V6 as well. Why? Well, why not, I guess. And something even more interesting is apparently there's a body kit for this thing. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. Oh, it gives it little, just little extra wide arches. Oh, it looks kind of cute like that. Going over to aero and appearance, going over to the front bumper, we have a couple options. We have this one from Mazda. We have a little Mazda speed option for the front as well, which does look pretty cool. Or we have the option to go ahead and tack on some Forza Aero, which for once didn't make it look hideous. Going to the back, we have some more options. We have a Mazda option right here for a tiny little wing. We have the Mazda speed option for a slightly bigger wing that kind of makes it look a bit more like a shopping trolley than a car. We also have the option to go ahead and slap on a Forza wing as well. And then we get to the bonnet where we have just two options. We've got this one from Mazda right here to add a couple little extra rally looking lights. And we have the Mazda speed option, which, well, doesn't really do much, I can't lie. In the meantime, our mechanic back has been very busy putting together a little road racing tune for us. Let's go ahead and bring up the share code very quickly. There it is. Feel free to go ahead and grab that for yourself. We're going to go ahead, download and install and see what we've got to work with. So with these upgrades installed, we're now even lighter than stock at 1,517 pounds with a little over 210 brake horsepower right at the top of A-class. So with those upgrades installed, we're now over at the paint shop. So let's go ahead and jump to the advanced paint group. So we have two to work from, or work with rather this time. We've got paint group number 1, which is the main body of the car. And what is paint group number 2? It is apparently the bottom area of the car as well. So we can have some really strange colour designs. A bit like whatever this is. As for manufacturer colours though, we do have two to work with. We've got a blue and a red, and I've got to say I kind of prefer the blue. Now, I've seen quite a fair few strange and different cars in my time. I've even seen a PLP 50 up close, which was quite an experience, but I've not yet got the chance to see one of these. So if you happen to own an Autozam AZ-1 or happen to know like a museum or something that might have one here in the UK, please do go ahead and let me know on Twitter. Or you can join my Discord server, link for that in the description of this video. And away we go, we're now up against 11 other vehicles and we need to finish in first place with this tiny little computer mouse looking thing. Can we do it? Well, let's go ahead and find out. We've got the first big corner up here. How do? We actually end up in third apparently, and this thing's a little drifty, which is quite surprising considering, well, what this car is. I can just imagine this being in Formula Drift. In the meantime, I've had a look at the numbers online of how many of these are made, and honestly, it's a surprisingly small amount. Because in total, for this thing's production years, there are approximately 4,392 ever made, plus a few sold under Suzuki badging as well. Although I've tried to look up online if I can find one in the UK, and I've only found 3 for sale, and the prices range between £25,000 to £35,000, which is roughly this in US dollar, by the way. So it's quite a lot of money for a very small amount of car, in this case quite literally. But so I've got to say, it's very, very intriguing to see that there are some here in the UK. Whether I will actually get to see one or not, I don't know, but I'm going to keep my fingers crossed and hope for the best. In the meantime, 95% through the race, one more turn to go. This car's actually been handling surprisingly well, and across the line we go with a very comfortable first place and a time of 2 minutes and 7. That's really not too bad. So for a short moment, we're going to go away from racing cars and this time to voting for them, because looking at the backstage this week, we've got All Out Rally. We've got ourselves the Porsche Macan RR over here and the Porsche 911 Rally E versus the number 14 Ford Fiesta and the Mini X-Trail. And I've got to say, there's two very good cars over here, but they are two quite common cars, but I've only ever seen the Rally E available once, and for that reason, it's going to get my vote. Yep, that's despite the fact it still drives like I'm driving a warehouse. However, while we've been voting for cars, Mac has been working once again on the Autozam AZ-1 and has brought us a brand new rear-wheel drive drag tune. So we're going to go ahead and bring up the share code of that one real quick. There it is. Feel free to go ahead and grab that for yourself. We're going to download the drag tune and just hope we don't go spinning out of control. So with these upgrades, we're now a little heavier, just under 1,680 pounds with a whopping 1,270 brake horsepower, almost into S2. Right, here we are now over at the back of the festival, so let's go ahead and see if we get a wheelie check out of this thing. And oh my god, it nearly flipped over. You know what? I think that passes the check. Right, I've not been told once again how to launch this thing, so we're going to go from launch control, which might be a bad idea, but away we... Oh my god, no, never mind, that was a bad idea. Time for take two. Right, this time we're starting off in second gear. We're going to go for a little amount of revs just to try and get it moving, and now away we go. Let's try to pick up the front again. Let's go ahead and see what we can do with this thing. A lot of power, a very lightweight car, through the camber at 245, and off into the dust storm at 270. Oh my god, I can't see a thing. And like usual, it's still didn't like braking. However, with all that chaos aside, now it's our turn to go ahead and have a little bit of fun with the tiny car. So let's go ahead and make this thing all-wheel drive very quickly so we can actually keep on the road this time. We're going to go ahead and shove in the Racing 2JZ. We're also going to go ahead and make this thing a little bit wider. And you bet we're putting this thing on semis. Right, now it's time for the power because we're going to try our best to make this thing a little bit of a top speed build. Right, with the upgrades done, the amount of power this thing is making is very concerning. And now we get to the fun part. I've got to try and figure out how to tune something that has this much power with this light of a car. This is going to get really interesting really quickly. Although first let's take a look at this week's Forzathon shop. We've got ourselves the Porsche 959 Horizon Backstage Pass, the Snap in mode, the McLaren 600 LT Coupe, the Creative T, the Horizon Super Wheelspin, and the regular Horizon Wheelspin as well. And now out to the motorway. Right, let's go ahead and see, have we gotten close to the motorway grade today? The answer is, sadly not. I mean, hey, we can only get lucky so many times. In the meantime though, here we are over at the edge of the motorway, so let's go ahead and get ourselves onto launch control, and away we go. Let's go ahead and see what we can get out of this thing. It is very angry. Look at that, we're in fourth gear already, and we've only just left the starting line. And I've got to say, look at the speed, this thing is flying. Right, the edge of the speed zone's here somewhere, there it is, 285.31, and we are still accelerating. We've got the downhill and speed cameras to go, and this thing shows no signs of slowing down, which is amazing and terrifying. In the meantime, the camera's here somewhere. There it is, 287.5, going downhill though, 289, 290 out of this thing. 290 out of this. I didn't expect that. Right, there's the sign, on the brakes we go. I doubt we'll get a good stopping distance out of this thing considering it's doing 290, but I might just be forced to eat my words from that. Although we still have one more challenge left for this thing. Right, it's that time of the video. Let's go ahead and chuck this thing into the drift zone and see how it does. I don't know what I expect from this thing, since it's a tiny car with a stupid amount of power, but it is very uncontrollable. So I'm hoping for a decent score, and we did get one, 41,127. Which for this thing is very surprising. Right, now it's time for round number 2, where we answer the question, can we beat our previous score of 41,000? Let's chuck this thing around and see what we get. We get ourselves pretty much the same score. It's 41,527. Although to be fair, if I learn how to drive this thing, I could probably get a much higher score. However though, that is the Autozam AZ-1, and fun fact, this thing was actually produced by Mazda. Yeah, the same people behind the Mazda Speed 3 and the countless SUVs. Well, back in the 90s they also made this thing too. Like I said at the start of the video, you can get this thing via the JDM Jewels car pack, but it will cost you a little extra on top of the base game. But for this thing doing 290, I'd say it's definitely worth it. At the very least, it gets 3 other quite cool cars too. In the meantime though, that is it for this video on the Autozam AZ-1 or AZ-1, however you wish to say it. Thank you very much for watching. I'll go ahead and see you all in the next one. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Tech out. See ya. Is it just me, or does this look like a miniature Ferrari F40?